Dang, gaming sure does build up quite the appetite. Good thing I have some caramel chocolates left over from the holidays. Oh, sick. There's one left. Wait a minute. That's not caramel. Oh, that's not good. Oh, no. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, no.
Look at these two, the Mario Brothers. If you don't already know, I love the Mario series. I like the spin-offs, I like the locations, I like the characters, and with that, today we're talking about Mario's easily frightened little brother. Luigi, Mario's younger but taller little brother. He was there from nearly the start, making his debut in Mario Bros., the arcade game. In the game, Mario and his brother had to rid the sewers of the many creatures coming from the pipes in the New York sewers. But at the time, Luigi was just a reskin of Mario, and he didn't stand out at all. He was literally just Green Mario, up until Super Mario Bros. 2, the Lost Levels. In that game, Luigi can jump a tad bit higher than Mario, but has a little less traction to even it out. This was the start of Luigi forming more into Luigi rather than Green Mario. Well, physics-wise, it took until the early 90s when Luigi finally got his own design and his own voice. He was Mario's taller, skinny brother. Finally, all Luigi needed to differentiate himself was a different personality. Mario was a real go-getter, always ready to jump into paintings and save the princess, no questions asked. Even if the painting wasn't magical and he could have just been jumping into a brick wall, and sometimes it was just a brick wall. And around the release of the GameCube, Luigi did get a personality. Anyway, the year was 2001 and the GameCube had just been released. And like any good console, it needed launch titles. And one of those many launch titles was Luigi's Mansion. This was the first good game where Luigi took the lead, unlike Mario's Missing in 1992. But that doesn't matter now. Now that we're all caught up, Luigi's Mansion is a game where Luigi wins a mansion from a contest he never entered, so he decides to go investigate. Before investigating the mansion, Mario went to check it out on his own. Why? Upon Mario's investigation, he mysteriously disappears. So, the actual winner, Luigi, decides to check it out. Upon his arrival, he's greeted by talking paintings, ghosts, and an old man with a vacuum. That old man's name is Professor Elvin Gadd, or Professor Egad for short. This is easily one of the best Mario characters out there. Egad is a ghost collector. He captures ghosts in his vacuum and traps them in paintings to put in his gallery. And he decides to help Luigi save his brother while also getting his ghost collection back. So he equips Luigi with a vacuum in a training session and throws him back into the manor. And now the rest is up to you. Now, Luigi's Mansion doesn't feature many familiar faces. Mario and Toad make an appearance, some ghosts resemble Shy Guys, and obviously Luigi is there, of course. But most of the game is all new characters. Each ghost you collect is called a portrait ghost. The portrait ghosts are all vastly different in design and help bring a different life to this game. This is a problem that later Luigi's Mansions deal with, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. So now you're off going room to room vacuuming all the ghosts you can, but be careful, each portrait ghost is defeated in a different way. Whether it be from opening a window to lighting a fire, each ghost has a different way of exposing their heart. Once their heart's exposed, you hit them with the bright of your flashlight and suck to your heart's content. Watch out, those portrait ghosts won't go down easy though. Actually, any ghost for that matter. They're going to try to pull their way free. This is where the challenge comes in. As the ghosts try to pull away, you'll have to stand your ground and hold the joystick in the opposite direction of the ghost to slowly wear it down. This, in my opinion, is the best part of the game. The struggle to hang on while catching a ghost is a feeling that's really hard to replicate. The music gets all intense and things start flying around as the lights flicker. It's so much fun. But portrait ghosts and generic ghosts aren't the only thing here. As I was talking about before, this game doesn't feature too many familiar faces, but it does have Boo's, the staple ghost of the Mario series. Only this time, they're the ones causing the trouble, not the portrait ghosts. As you're trekking through the mansion, you're greeted by a big red button that obviously says do not press it. Well, it's a big red button. Of course you're gonna press it. The room then expands and leads to another big red button, and once you press it, well, So you let the boos escape, and this leads to my least favorite part of the game. There are up to 50 boos scattered throughout the mansion, and catching at least 40 of them are required to complete the game. When catching a boo, you'll have to use the Game Boo Horror's Boo Radar to find where they're hiding, and once you've found them, you pull out your vacuum, but here's the kicker. When catching the portrait ghost, the poltergeist will lock on. When catching boos, it doesn't, so you just kinda gotta hope and try your best to catch them, and while that's already rough, sit down. It can get worse. That's right, they can travel to other rooms, making it a nightmare to catch them. But now that we're done with all that stuff, let's talk about the controls. Being a launch title, Luigi's Mansion likes to make use of the GameCube's features. The GameCube controller features 2 analog triggers, which lets Luigi use multiple power options on the vacuum. While I can't ever figure out what it's used for, it's neat that it's here. You control Luigi with the left joystick and look around with the C stick. But when catching ghosts, you hold the joystick in the opposite direction of the ghost and slam the C stick in the opposite direction, making the pull feel even more fun. Other than that, the A button lets Luigi interact with objects, or if you're not close to an object, he will call out for Mario. It's a needless action, but also one of the most important ones in the game.
Because it's fun.
But other than that, it controls nicely. The camera's always in a fixed position too, so no need to worry about that. Now that we're done with the controls, let's talk about the manor itself. The mansion is a ton of fun to explore. Within each room awaits a new ghost or puzzle to be solved, but eventually, probably around the time you unlock the attic, the game gets tedious. More specifically, the phone room. When in the phone room after the power goes out in the mansion, Luigi calls up EGAD and realizes he needs to go to the basement to turn the power back on. Well, this is frustrating for 2 reasons. 1, the phone room itself spawned a couple of dumb theories I refuse to get into, and 2, this room starts the trend of going from the basement to the attic over and over and over and over and over again. The last 40 minutes of the game is essentially Luigi running from floor to floor looking for what exactly to do. Unfortunately, it makes the last bit of the game drag on, especially when you start to run into fewer and fewer portrait ghosts. But once you finish that up, it's your job to take on King Boo and save your brother, who admittedly is getting rather tired of waiting. But King Boo then pulls the old switcheroo and sucks you into the painting this time, where he then possesses something that resembles Bowser and you fight him there. It's a fun fight, kinda weird when he moves his head though, and then puts it on backwards. But other than that, it's a fun fight, and finally you save Mario and Luigi waltzes right out of the mansion, and then EGAD returns Mario to normal, and that's Luigi's Mansion. What makes Luigi's Mansion stick out more to other Mario games is it goes for a darker tone, not only with the lighting, but the environment and locations, and it sure does show off what the GameCube could do, with the multiple lighting tricks and the dust particles and the fun controls. Luigi's Mansion is a great game, which eventually spawned into its own series, but if you're expecting the other 2 games to be the same thing, better change your mind, because those other 2 stray back to the cartoony Mario feeling with a little less dark stuff. But I still love those 2 games, but we're not talking about them right now. Overall, Luigi's Mansion is a must-play on the GameCube, even if the last 40 minutes drag on. I will say though, it's probably one of my favorite GameCube games.
Well, it looks like I'm stuck like this, so might as well haunt this house forever.
Oh no, you're not. Do you know how much you're bringing down the property value of this place?
Well, I'm sorry, unless you can find a way to fix me, it looks like I'm stuck like this.
There's something I can do about it.
You wouldn't dare.